Welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the website at allamericangold.com, where we deliver economics with attitude. We've been doing it for well over 2 decades. Legal, lawful, constitutional tender. Right? News to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed out there. And man, there's a lot of disturbed people out there. I don't know if you saw. But this guy, BetoORourke, remember, he ran against Ted Cruz in Texas and almost pulled it off. He's one of those guys, I call him kind of like Marco Rubio was for the Republicans. He's that, good-looking Democrat that has potential to be on the ticket, if you will, to run against Trump in 2020. Probably not as the president, but possibly the vice president. Had a 2-hour-long interview with the Washington Post, essentially saying, hey, I don't think in this day and age that the Constitution of the United States can apply. It's coming, right? We talk about it all the time. The young lady from New York that wants the 70% tax and socialism. Listen, they're right. Beto's not wrong. I know what the Democrats want. They want socialism. It's what they want. So, yes, he's right. Well, to get what we want, right, we want to get rid of the Constitution. We can, and I don't do politics a lot, but when something like that happens, you need to know about it. And we see it now. All of these great red states, Colorado and Arizona, even states like Nevada, right, that used to all be red, are now all what? All what do they call them? Purple. Because all of the failed blue staters keep coming, right? By the hundreds of thousands, leaving California, leaving Illinois, leaving New Jersey, leaving New York, and spreading it all over the place. And you know what? You look at where we are today and the hate and the anger and all of these things, and you got guys out there, and people are, while he's giving this interview, I got to say, it was a made-for event. So there's like a studio audience while he's doing this interview, and people are yelling out for him to run for president. Right? The young lady there from New York, the bartender, the dancer, if you will, right? She wants us to be like Sweden. Cortez, thank you, Arlene. You know what? I block out things that I don't want to remember, and the problem is if I remember her name, I got to forget somebody else's. Yeah, she wants us to be like Sweden. O'Rourke wants to get rid of the Constitution. Yeah, it's great. Don't worry, everything's fine. We don't need a border wall. 800-951-0592. Listen, this is what's coming down the pipe. And a lot of it is debt-related. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's true. Why do people want bigger government? Because they need help? I can't pay my rent, right? I can't pay my bills. I can't feed my family. But they tell us there's no inflation. They tell us there's low unemployment. They tell us there's nobody filing for jobless claims. They're right. All of those things are true. If you want to use the metrics that they insist we use. And it's funny. You just go back to before they took us off the gold standard, because that's really when it all started. them a while. Right? They couldn't get the unemployment rate they wanted until the 80s and the 90s, right? Little by little, they started making changes. Well, I went to class at Harvard, or I went to MIT, or I went to Columbia or Yale or Stanford or wherever they went. And we talked about a theory. Yeah. And in this theory, it says that, you know what? As long as you got a job, any job, babysitting, someone gave you $20, you had a garage sale, that's a job. We don't have to count you anymore. Right? If you've applied for a job in your whole little town and there's nowhere else to go, we don't have to count you anymore. Right? They get this number that's artificially low. Right? The jobless claims. Hey, guess what? This is the new world. I don't know where they're at. Well, I told you. What did the Bureau of Labor Statistics say? We don't have the money. We don't got the money to do that. Most people can't file for jobless claims anymore because they still have another job. Can't file for unemployment claims when you have another job. You can't file for unemployment claims when you're a contract worker. 800-951-0592. I'm going to tell you the story I had with the head of the bullion bank when we return. Eight 800-951-0592. It has been a wild start here to 2019. A lot of people, and it's funny because we're watching Wall Street. Wall Street, oh, no, it's fine. Right? Everything's fixed again. Right? We got Jay Powell all straightened out now. And I keep listening to these guys come out. I just heard it again this morning. So 4 o'clock this morning, I got the TV on, and there's, a guy that, hey, let's face it, what does he do? Well, he controls people's retirement, right? And it doesn't matter whether it's a 401k or a mutual fund, an IRA, a money market, right? The list goes on, annuities. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. Yeah, there's no as to why, since Christmas Eve, things have gotten, quote-unquote, better. Well, there's no sign of recession. There's no sign? Really? Let's see. Car sales are down. Home sales are down. Jobless claims, whether you like it or not, right? They're up, just not the way you count them. Gymboree out of business today. So all the remaining Gymboree stores, they're all going to close. I think there's 900 stores. They filed for liquidation today. Somebody else did too. Who was it? Shopko. They filed for bankruptcy. They're only closing 105 stores. So, there's no signs. The Beige Book was out yesterday. Every single district. So now the Beige Book, for those of you that don't know what that is, this is simply the Federal Reserve. There's 12 Federal Reserve banks across the country. Okay, so when you think of the Federal Reserve, you got Jay Powell, he's the Fed chief. Then you got a vice chair, right? And then you got the 12 banks. So you got one's in New York and one's in Boston and Chicago and Minneapolis and Richmond and Dallas. Out here in the West, we got San Francisco and you got St. Louis, right? These are the banks. Each regional Federal Reserve bank. And they're out there making phone calls, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how they're doing it. But what they called them in this Beige Book was their contacts. Why not just say who they are? Right? How hard can it be? Here's a list of the contacts. Here's all the businesses we contact. We don't want that information. But they all said the same thing. Yeah, growth is slowing, number one. Number two, they're all concerned. And they weren't talking about, hey, this is just like they're making, it's the tariffs and it's this. It's not. They said that the district reported that their contacts had become less optimistic. Right, this is what I'd call the soft data. They listed a lot of things. Financial market volatility, rising of short-term interest rates. This next one is the one that got my attention. Falling energy prices, right? That's no good. And they're trying to, oil's like $51 today. Elevated trade and political uncertainty were the last things they listed. So there's plenty of signs. I'll say this, news out of Europe, not good. Theresa May, she's still in power there in England, barely. The Brexit issue rages on. Jean-Claude Trichet, he came out and said, hey, things are getting real slow. Right? We know about China, right? We're slowing. Everybody's slowing. But here's what was interesting. So yesterday, and actually this has been most of the week conversation. So every day, just so you know, every day, one of the phone calls we make is to the bullion bank. Right? And our bullion bank is in San Diego. Right? He's the guy in the West. Right? That's what he does. And we all, we ask him the same question. What you got? What you got? Got anything? Got any junk silver? Got any silver eagles? What do you got in gold? Got anything on special? What's going on? Right, stuff like that. And talking to this guy, and I have this vision in my head of what I perceive liberals to be, right? And he would fit that. Not that he's a liberal. I don't want to give you that impression. But he acts like it. He has zero emotion. Arlene will tell you the guy mumbles. Right? There is no emotion in him whatsoever. So it's hard to even engage in a conversation with him. Right? Right, Arlene, am I lying? Not at all. Right? You don't get nothing out of this guy. So when I went to Barrett-Jackson, right, and I told you I went, and it was on Sunday and before the auction, just something to do. And we had a couple of free pairs of tickets. That tended to help because there was no way I was going to spend $100 for my wife, myself, my boy, and his girlfriend to walk around. I'm just not a car. Listen, if you're a car guy, I get it, right? Man, if you are a car guy, you love cars, you got to go. I mean, this is like the greatest thing on earth. It's just not for me. For me, I got my Buick, and I'm happy with it, right? I don't care what it looks like. It's comfortable, and I like it, and it only cost me $20,000. And it's funny to say that, right? Only. And looking at these cars that are hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, it doesn't do much for me. But I told you about how our competitor was there. And I call them a competitor. They're not a competitor. They're a rip-off artist. And I try to tell everybody, dude, please don't. If you don't want to buy your gold from me, that's okay. I mean, I'd like you to. Right? It keeps us going. It keeps the show on the air. Now it keeps the radio station in Colorado going. So I'd like you to. But if you don't buy it from the people on TV. You got a much better chance of not getting ripped off if you do. And they were selling the slabbed gold eagles and buffaloes, right? The MS-70 gold eagles and buffaloes. And I say buffaloes, I didn't see buffaloes. I just saw the gold eagles for 1,900 and something bucks. So I just wanted to prove a point. So I was asking him about, hey, do you got any of these slabbed gold eagles and buffaloes? And he's like, yeah. That was his answer to me. Yeah, that's it. Waiting, and I'm like, well, how much are they? And he gave me the price. And then, nothing. And then I'm like, well, how many do you got? Because usually when we call, hey, I've got this many cases of silver. I've got, if he has some gold, I got this amount or that amount. You know what his answer was? And I've never gotten this answer that I know of. A lot was his answer. Right? A lot. Like, I'm not even counting. Yeah, you can sell as many as you want. So, by the way, $1,430, proof MS-70 gold eagles and buffaloes. If you want them, call me. I got them. So then we got down, though, to what we do best. Tell me what's going on in the silver market. And he just said, I've got a 2019 Silver Eagles. That's it. And I said to him, you've been saying that the whole year because they closed the last 2 weeks of 2018, right? The Christmas. They don't open again until New Year's. The day after New Year's. And he's like, we haven't had a backdate Silver Eagle, he goes, since probably November. It was the last time someone sold them backdate Silver Eagle. And I said, well, what about the 2018s? Right, they're backdate now. He goes, they're gone. And then I asked him about 10th ounce American Gold Eagle. And he said to me, they're gone. And I said, excuse me? He goes, yeah, they're gone. I don't have any backdate. I said, how about 2019? And he gives me, again, the answer. Some. And nothing else. What's some? 40 or 50? Like one roll? And I said, what's going on? And he goes, people are buying. And that's all he said. Nothing else, right? Nothing, right? And I'm like, what? So today I'm going to do something I don't think I've ever done it. We are buying 1/10 ounce American Gold Eagles today. We're not selling them. I'm buying them for $5 over melt. Actually, you know what? Let's just make it $6 over. I'm buying them for $135 a piece. So if you have 10th ounce Gold Eagles and you're looking to sell, call us at 800-951-0592. Now, I do want to make a distinction. So those are a $5 gold piece. I don't want you to confuse it with the $5 Liberty. Right? The $5 Liberty, that's the old one. That's the quarter-ounce old one. These are the ones that are the size of a dime. Right? And we sell them here all the time, right? When we talk about people who buys these. People that are worried that I may have to barter. Right? And you think about, I don't know, we didn't really talk about it here, and maybe Jason and Brian talked about it on their show, where our electrical grid got hacked. Did you see that? That was out, I think it was earlier this week. That they were inside the electrical grid and had the ability to turn the power off. And you start thinking about situations like that and people worried about it needing to spend gold and walking around with 1 ounce Gold Eagles or Buffaloes or the $20 Libs and the Saints. Hey, listen, if you're going to be buying some guy's ranch, I guess that works. Right? If you're in Venezuela, you can take a $20 Lib or a $20 Saint and buy the guy's house from him. But if it's, something smaller, you need we call these, Eric used to call these the tank of fuel for the RV. Hey, we need to get out of Dodge. 10th-ounce Gold Eagle is going to fill up the tank. Those are what we're looking for. The size of the dime. We're paying $135 a piece for them. Right now, spot gold is $1,291.20. So that would be melt value on that coin, $129.10. We're almost $5.90 right now over spot is what we are paying on 1/10-ounce American Gold Eagles. Things are changing very quickly. We're off to the best month in 2 or 3 years. The Bullion Bank told us that we're out of everything. We said old gold, because they get old gold too. They don't care, right? Hey, it's U.S. minted, we got it. None. Zero. Nada. Don't have any. Patriot Radio News Hour. Now you know the demand side of things. We'll be back right after the break.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily look at the significant issues of our time from an experienced conservative perspective. Sponsored by Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, this broadcast continues the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly and stands against forces that deny freedom of religion, slander America, and would redefine the family. And now, from the archives of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, here is Phyllis Schlafly.
A major reason why the United States has such a high standard of living is that America has produced nearly all the world's important inventions. This is the result of the unique provision in the U.S. Constitution that guarantees to inventors the property right to own and realize the value of their own inventions, plus the private enterprise system that makes it possible for new inventions to be produced and marketed. Unfortunately, independent American inventors are becoming an endangered species. In 1980, independent American inventors received 16% of the U.S. patents granted, but by last year they received only 5%. This unfortunate trend is a threat to our economic and national security future. It's important for Americans to realize that most important inventions are the result of work by independent inventors, not big corporations. These independent inventors need an efficient U.S. Patent Office to deal fairly with their applications. Current problems with the Patent Office are endangering the patenting of new inventions that America needs to stay ahead in the world. The workload of patent examiners has vastly increased, forcing them to devote less time to analyzing each application. The time taken to review a patent has gone from 18 months in 1990 to 35 months now. Patent infringers are given new advantages to challenge a patent's validity, and that exhausts an inventor with litigation and depletes his resources. Foreigners are always trying to get us to change our system to be like theirs, but that is a very bad idea. Tell your new member of Congress that the protection of our American patent system is one of their most important constitutional duties.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. American ingenuity should be celebrated and rewarded. Individual inventors should be protected from any threat, foreign or domestic, that would steal their patents and profits. At phyllisschlafly.com, we promise to stand up for those who work hard, innovate, and dream big. If that's you, join us at phyllisschlafly.com. And thanks for listening to the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
800-951-0592. We are buying. I want to make that clear. Right, we're not selling these. We are buying 1/10-ounce American Gold Eagles today at $135 a piece. Now that's roughly $6, give or take, over melt on 1/10-ounce American Gold Eagles. So if you're one of those people out there that hey, because of circumstance, right, you have to sell, you're at that point or what have you, call us. If you want to trade, call us. Right? Hey, maybe you want to trade your 10th ounce in for silver or something to that effect. Awesome. You're going to get a great premium for them to do so. Give us a call at 800-951-0592. What I got plenty of, MS-70 Buffaloes and Gold Eagles at $1,430. For those of you that want, here's your slab stuff. And if you're one of those people where, hey, you know what, I don't want someone to question what it is that I own, because there's a lot of scumbags out there. Why people deal with us that'll try to knock you down for yourself. Oh well, it looks old, or it looks it's got a scratch, or it's got this, it's got that. Mint State 70, these coins, according to the grading service, these are perfect. And then they encapsulate them in these hard plastic cases so they can't be damaged, so there's no question as to what it is that you're holding. Not proof, I'm sorry. Forget I said that word. MS-70 Buffaloes and Gold Eagles, $1,430 at 800-951-0592. The U.S. federal debt bomb continuing to increase, and we've been talking a lot about this. I think this is where most of our problems really lie. And here's the bad part. I know the government shutdown is hurting a lot of people. Right? Those of you, we know about the government workers, but you got to remember, too, the government, you know how many contract workers work because of the government? And no, I feel, the government employees, right, eventually they're going to get their money. Now, that doesn't help. Listen, I don't mean to minimize that. They got bills to pay. Right? Don't pay your credit card. See what happens to your interest rate. Right? Don't pay your credit card. Be late making your credit card payment. All of a sudden, your credit card interest rate goes through the roof. Right? Not to mention your rent and your mortgage and your car payment. So I get it. But eventually, right, they're going to get their back pay. Not the contract guy. Not the 1099ers. This is a big deal. And it's almost ridiculous. You're running $1 trillion plus a year deficits. And let's face it, we're talking about a couple $2 billion. And even though the government is, quote, unquote, shut down, it keeps skyrocketing higher. U.S. public debt 2 days ago, go back to Tuesday, increased $50 billion in one day. And it does that every day, really. I mean, that's and I shouldn't say every day, but, these are every, at least twice a month, you get the $50 to $100 billion jumps in the debt. And most of the other days, you tack on $3-4 billion a day, and then one day, there's $3-4 billion a day. For another couple of weeks, there's 80. Total outstanding debt, right? The $22 trillion. I think technically, right there, we're just billions of dollars away. I think we're 10 or 15, maybe 20 billion away from 22 trillion. There's a lot more debt than America actually realizes, and this is the problem. It'd be okay, and I don't know about okay, but I could deal. Listen, if the debt was $22 trillion, and that was all it was, we could probably deal with it. But it's not. There are other obligations that nobody's talking about, such as the U.S. government agency debt that isn't, let's face it, it's not well known. People don't talk about it. U.S. agency debt, for those of us that don't know, this is the amount of outstanding debt issued to the federal agencies such as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, right? This is also where you get like student loans and things of that nature. We also have to include all your state and local debt. That's not part of the quote-unquote federal debt, right? Still government debt, right? It's still government debt. California holds the highest amount of state debt in the country, followed by New York, right? Followed by Chicago, followed by New Jersey. Just take the map of where everybody's leaving. By the way, just New York and California alone, another $300 billion. But that's not all. You start up and you start putting things in perspective. Says that U.S. agency debt, this is other than the $22 trillion we hear about, now sits at over $9 trillion. And this is how much of the housing market is really financed by the government. We know the student loan, right? The government took that over completely. State and local debt now adds another $3 trillion. So really, you start thinking about it, and you're like, hey, all of a sudden, the deficit numbers, it's already almost $40 trillion. Already. $34.3 trillion, which nobody talks about. And then if you compare that to the GDP of the country, and that's another one that they like to talk about, right? Well, if the GDP, as long as it's over 100%, which we're already over, right? Right now, GDP, according to their numbers, is $20.6 trillion. So national debt's $22 trillion. We're already over that. It's really closer to real debt, $34 trillion. So we're almost at 200%. And I guess someone did the math for me. It's at 166%. Of course, that's not the only debt. Right? We got the Federal Reserve's balance sheet that we haven't talked about. And, well, all the other unfunded liabilities as well. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592. Don't have a ton of data as the government shutdown rages on with no end in sight. We did get earnings out today, right? And this has been bank week. And most of them reported a decent profit number. As we pointed out earlier this week, matter of fact, I want to say the banks, all the Wall Street banks, said they had $100 billion worth of profit. Remember what I told you the other day. $38 billion of that came from the Federal Reserve. That really should be going to us. I don't understand, right? It really, if you think about, if they're going to be taking our money, right, because they're supposed to remit all their profit back to the government, right? And again, I kind of like how I pointed out how this, it's a Ponzi scheme. They created money out of thin air and bought debt with it, and then paid themselves the interest on the fake money that they created, right? That's just how it works. And then they decide at their own whim, we'll just give it back to the bank. You think Wells Fargo deserves any money for ripping everybody off? But they got it. Everyone gets it. Why not just put it in our account? I don't understand why that can't work. Right? Instead of giving it to the bank, why don't they, there's probably, 150 million, give or take, checking accounts, right? Something like that. Just disperse it. Here you go. Don't give it to the bank. What did they do to earn that money? Absolutely nothing. You know what they did? Let me tell you what they did. They didn't lend it out. They took your deposit and they didn't lend it out. And instead, every night, they parked it at the central bank. Why? Well, because if we do, they pay us interest. But it's not your money. It's my money. I deposited my paycheck in the bank. I put my money in the bank. It's my money that's sitting there. But remember what I told you. Here's another reason why you know it's not your money. The second you give it to the bank, the second, think about it. Most of the country today lives on what? Direct deposit, right? A lot of companies, especially the bigger companies, they won't even pay you. Right? No, we're not giving you a check. That's not how it works here. Well, I don't have a bank account. Well, then I guess you're not working here. Because the only way we pay is direct deposit. I know a lot of you out there are shaking your head. Yep, that's how it works. It's not your money. Right? Because you think about it. So the Federal Reserve is going to pay banks interest on money they don't lend. Now, they didn't used to. Keep in mind. But since the financial crisis, right, when they talk about how great these, the fact their balance sheets are so good now. Really? Why do they need $38 billion? Wouldn't that be better? We got $1 trillion deficit. I know that, $38. Hey, with that $38 billion, we can build the whole wall. Right? We can end the shutdown right now. We'll give you $5 billion, and then we'll pay down the debt by $33 billion. Think about it. That $38 billion 2 days ago, the deficit would have only went up $12 billion. It's almost ridiculous. And this is really, they sit there and they talk about, and you turn on, the banks are so great. Now, today it was bad news. Morgan Stanley was horrible. And everyone's scratching their head. I don't know what happened. And this is kind of the point. Right? They're playing games with our financial well-being. But see, they already know what's going to happen. They just don't want you to know it. Right? They parade these litany of idiots out on the TV every day. Oh, no, we're going to hit new all-time highs, and we're going to hit all new all-time highs. Well, we didn't hit new all-time highs last year. But I guess, you say it enough, you're going to be right some of the time. I'm not so worried about all-time highs and all-time lows. I'm more concerned about how did we get it. Because how we got it will determine what our future is going to be. And if we got it simply by adding debt, if we got it simply by lowering interest rates so they could refinance that debt, if they got it by making up money out of thin air and then handing it over to them, in other words, they didn't really earn it at all, what happens when it slows down? What happens when that $38 billion becomes 20 or 10 or 0? Right? And this is what I worry about, because really when you think about how did we get to where we're at today, they didn't fix it. The banks are bigger than ever. Right? They come out on TV, we're so much better capitalized. Right? What they don't say is, they're twice the size now. They don't say that part. 800-951-0592. Take the time. Put some gold and silver away. Or if you want today, sell me some 10th-ounce gold Eagles. I'm buying. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Man, I never thought I'd come out here and be pitching everyone to sell me your gold. We are buying 1/10 ounce American Gold Eagles. Those are the little ones. They're the size of a dime. $6 over about $135. So right now, gold's $12.91. Silver's $15.55, and the Dow is teetering around unchanged. On the what we are, so we're buying those. What we're selling today. Listen, we've been huge run on 20s. The five, remember the fives we ran the week before? Man, it just blew the doors off of it. Never thought I'd be telling you that I'm buying, trying to get you to sell me gold. Then I never thought, hey, for multiple days I'm going to be pitching bullion. MS-70 Gold Eagles and Buffaloes. Now, if you ask me, if you put a gun to my head and said, which one would you buy? Which one do you like better? The Buffalo. Because it's freaking cool, number one. You know me, I like cool stuff. And it is a 24-karat coin, and this would be the only way. You know what? For me, the only way I'm buying a Buffalo is like this. Because it's so, pure gold, so it just scratches so easily. And there's people out there, trust me, in the audience, where I've bid far less because their coins were and we're just talking about the modern issue stuff, because their coins were all scratched up, right? A scratched up Gold Eagle, scratched up Buffaloes, you just don't get the value for it. So I love the old coins. That's the other part. The old coins, of course they're scratched up. They should be. But I'd buy the Buffaloes if it was me. So there you go. $1,430. Listen, that's $500 less than what my competition does. Yeah, you heard it right. 800-951-0592. 2019 Silver Eagles at $385 a roll. If you buy a case of them, I'll take $5 a roll off. So if you buy a case of them, that takes the roll down to $380. That's $9,500 on the case. And I'll tell you this: we can do 3 cases because things have just gotten tight. 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. Just a quick update. We had some new equipment installed at KXXT yesterday. Sometime next week, the engineers are going to be here installing my equipment here. And we should have another big improvement here. The quality sound of this show in Phoenix and Colorado is going to improve again. We have a new website coming to KHNC. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think by sometime next week we'll probably have that up and running. Matter of fact, I know right now there's work being done at the station as well. We got so much stuff going on. I'm just so excited. And thank you so very, very much. We're able to do this through the support of you guys ordering from us. When you order from us, it pays for the radio program. It keeps that station in Colorado going as well. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. One more show for the week. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. We're going to make it through another one. Take care. Have a great day.